Arjuna do Theon.
Hold on. Our white card is not working.
You hit transition.
It's not working. That's what's up. I'm gonna put us on the main.
Yeah, that's fine. Just put us a little
Oh, apparently we're live. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to another exciting Was It Good live stream. We are getting ready for our podcast, Was It Good? We are reviewing the Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, Battle of Winterfell episode. I believe that's the title. I'm not exactly sure. But we have a lot of feelings, a lot of opinions, and I think it's going to be a fun one. So, bear with us as we set up. Please send us your questions, your comments, your theories, your anger, your love.
I'm angry.
Yeah, our host, Ravi, is very angry. Spoiler alert. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers for this, so if you haven't watched the episode for Game of Thrones, please leave. We actually also did see Avengers Endgame, so we might inadvertently drop a spoiler or two for that as well. We'll
try not to.
We'll try not to.
We'll try not to.
Just a heads up. There's a lot of comparisons and a lot of talk about both of these for this episode. But please,
I'm so angry.
But please let us know. Send us your comments and your questions and all that fun stuff, and we will be sure to answer them as best as we can, and be along for the ride.
Yeah, dogs.
That was like the longest low-key intro ever.
Yes. So yeah, right now we're just prepping for the podcast. So
Rabbit, how are you gonna talk when you?
I'm just gonna be screaming into everything. This is why we should get the arms actually.
Well, the arms for what? What are your arms?
Like, because now we can remove these things.
Mhm.
If we had the arms, they could just be like here, like this,
or headsets.
Here, I'll just hold it like this the entire time.
Please don't.
It doesn't work on my shoulders.
I'm just trying to so I can get your face correctly.
You want to get my face correctly
in the frame. Your head's being cut off a little. If you want to raise this a little,
because it's so ugly. Yeah, give me a second. Can I raise this?
Yeah.
Might cover your face though.
How is that?
That's good.
Okay, and then raise that. How's that?
It's a little twisted.
Like yours.
You might have to adjust it because I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
How are you gonna slouch more or sit up more?
I'm gonna be like this.
Okay, let's do a mic check. Ravi, go ahead.
I'm doing a mic check. My name is Ravi. I am the host of this show.
Get angry. Night King.
Fuck King Hell HBO, you fuckers.
This is a not safe for work or home podcast.
Yeah, don't watch this.
It's not safe at all. Christian, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Christian. I'm doing a test. 1, 2, 3. Game of Thrones, Episode 3, Season 8. Say it ain't so. And it's Sunday.
Get angry.
Ravi, I have to disagree with you. I agree with you.
Get passionate. Was this better than Triple Frontier?
No, it wasn't. Triple Frontier was better than this shit.
All right, this is Arjuna. Hello, I am talking about Game of Thrones, Season 3, Season 8, Episode 3.
Season 3, Episode 8.
This is my mic check. All right.
Check. You know what the worst part is? Before we get start the podcast, the worst part is that so many cool theories did not come to pass about everything.
What is he doing?
I don't know. Our host is putting on some weird-looking BDSM kind of
he's into that.
thing.
You can tweet that out.
At least from behind, it looks very wrong. From the front, I don't know what that is. It's a Star Wars thing. Oh wow! But Jim, did you know he was getting this?
I might have, but he's definitely not doing the episode in the mask because that audio is going to sound like shit.
Well, let's find out.
All right, I'm ready to go now.
No, we're not. You can't do the episode like this.
Damn it.
But we do. We
got
a visual. It looks good.
Wait, let me get it on the Instagram story at least for the episode.
Right, hold up a bad tacos mug. Here you go. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put on the story. Do one on the grid.
Well, I mean, we're not ready to do our actual thing yet, so I figured I'd just wear this because I fume with anger.
Oh, I see. You're
How
blushing.
shitty the goddamn episode was.
When did you
funny,
get
I'm
this?
Smiling while I wear this.
When did you get that?
Yesterday.
From where?
Don't worry about it.
That sounds so sketchy. I have a Star Wars helmet dealer.
It was me the whole time.
Whoa.
I also ordered the Thanos glove, and I think it should be here somewhere.
I told you to get that, yes.
Yeah, I did.
The Infinity Gauntlet. It's not the Thanos glove, it's the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's the Thanos glove.
Jesus.
Jesus is a friend of mine.
Do you have any comments, or is anyone even watching this thing?
Probably not.
We have no comments yet. We do have 3 viewers.
Hello, viewers. I'm guessing one is mom, one is dad, and one is...
Oh
somebody
man,
else.
I just burped and it smells terrible. Why is
Well, that's
it
what you get.
asking for my password? You guys want to get tacos later?
No.
Really? I really want a taco.
Well, then you should get one.
But if you're not gonna get tacos with me, what's the point? Get it? Like it's just like, you know. Well, I'm good when you guys are ready. This thing is kind of high up, so I'm gonna go like this. How's that? Is that okay, Arjuna? Hello and welcome to the podcast.
It's kind of blocking your mouth a little.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could go lower then. You eating the ground?
He's eating the Darth Vader box. Oh, no, he's playing with a wire.
Oh God, he's gonna electrocute himself.
All right, are we good?
I think we're ready.
Are good.
Let me just find the official episode title for the episode.
It's called
Battle of Winterfell?
Battle of Winterfell.
Battle of Winchell's? Donuts?
Is it actually called Battle of Winterfell?
No, it's called The Long Night.
Where is this Battle of Winterfell
Hashtag
coming from?
Oh, the internet. The internet as per normal.
Because the same thing happened last week, right?
Yeah.
We used a different title.
It was not the right one.
Yeah. We got tricked by Twitter.
By Tweeta. Let me...
Tweeta. Tweeta, tweeta, tweeta. Twitter, 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 Twitter.
You guys can interact with our viewers.
Hello, viewers. I have to say this. I thought the White Walkers were going to be like the Golden State Warriors. Right? You know what they ended up being? They ended up being like the Houston Rockets. Really talented, really strong, but they lose at the end.
Wait, are you comparing Game of Thrones to sports?
I'm comparing the White Walkers to the NBA, certain NBA teams. We thought, right? They kind of geared up the Army of the Dead as this powerhouse, this juggernaut, right? This undefeatable, if that's even a word, force.
Right.
And just like the Golden State Warriors, right? But, spoilers, they lost.
Right.
And just like the Houston Rockets.
So we got last week's wrong because the HBO is only releasing the episode title names after the episode has been released. So as of right now, it's being called The Long Night. Don't know if that's going to hold up.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's really not our fault.
Not our fault.
We're exonerated.
Much like how this episode was. It's not our fault.
That's true. This episode was not our fault.
All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Give me 1 minute just to set up my document here.
Putting up my
So fun fact for our viewers, I actually started tallying last week our yeses and nos, and I actually have the results if we want to share them real quick.
Nope.
Okay.
You should share it only when we get to a milestone. Like, someone gets to like 50.
Well, I mean,
yeses
it's
or
just
50
a
no's.
record. I basically have a yes/no record for each person.
Yeah. So when we get to when someone gets to a milestone or something.
Well, Christian, you're at a milestone. You're at a specific number of
69?
No, he's at 30 yeses.
That's how old you are.
Christian, so I'll just say it now. Christian's at 30 yeses, 6 nos. Ravi's at 21 yeses, 15 nos. And I'm at 22 yeses and 14 nos.
So I have the best record.
I'm just the negative Nancy of the group. Don't call me Nancy.
Stella.
Does everyone know what their one-word synopsis is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine's a swear word.
Yes, I can't wait. Is it a made-up word?
No. No more made-up words.
Come on, why?
Because we got trolled like hardcore because of it.
And we got more views because of it.
It doesn't matter. We still got hardcore like trolled.
My word this week is not a made-up word, but I refuse to rule out using made-up words in the future.
No made-up words.
I will not be.
Whatever it takes.
I will not be held down.
That's
Whatever
my
it
new.
takes.
By the way, that's my new 100% is whatever it takes. So in meetings at work now, I'm gonna be like, whatever it takes.
Dude, your new 100% is it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
You say that almost daily.
I do not say it's
I
been
have
a
not,
minute.
I've not heard that before.
I've heard you say it 3 times at least in the last 2 hours.
I've not. When did I say it's been a minute?
I haven't heard him say it.
I don't want to say in this stream, but I definitely heard you. You always say like it's been a minute, or you like to use word terms minute when some length of time has gone by.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm ready. I'm a professional DJ.
Okay, are we ready?
DJ
Yes.
Here we go.
Khaled.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Was It Good? We just finished Game of Thrones, Episode 3, Season 8. I'm your host, Ravi, joined by my 2 White Walker brothers, Christian and Arjuna. There's a lot to dive into, so I didn't really write an intro.
Yes.
Because right at the
Best
top,
intro
right
ever.
off the top, I just want to say this. What the fuck?
That's loud. You might want to turn your volume down.
Sorry,
No, it's
but
okay.
seriously, I'm just...
Are you pale with anger? Are you livid?
I'm super livid. Like, I know this podcast is supposed to be about the 3 of us, but maybe we should spend this episode about me and my thoughts, and you two should make me feel better about everything.
Well, you don't know how we're going to react to your thoughts or even what we think.
I do know what you think.
You do?
No, but we should figure it out by first going around the room and asking ourselves, or expressing in one word, what we thought about the episode.
I want to start with you.
I'm going to start with you.
No. We should start with you because I think you're very passionate. We always start with Christian or myself.
All right, fine.
This is the one that starts with you.
Okay, one word to describe the episode. Stupid.
You lied. You said it was a swear word.
I know. I just wanted to throw you off.
Damn.
But I thought the episode was genuinely stupid. I thought from a cinematography standpoint, from an editing standpoint, from dialogue, from just everything. The only thing that kind of worked for it was honestly the music. The music was very, very well done as per normal because of Arjuna. Please help me out with his name.
Hans Zimmer?
No.
Give me a minute.
Yes, but he's the composer also for Game of Thrones. He's done it the entire time. He also did Westworld. And he did an amazing job as per normal, and that was the only thing that was really going for this episode. But in general, I thought the episode was stupid.
Damn.
Yeah.
Ramin Djawadi.
Ramin Djawadi.
Oh, didn't he do the Battlestar Galactica as well?
He did some for that as well.
Yeah.
Another classic.
Okay.
Yeah, he also does Westworld, like Ravi said. He also did Pacific Rim. He did Warcraft.
Warcraft is a great movie.
Amazing. Great movie.
Oh, and he did the first Iron Man. Fun fact.
I am Iron Man.
Anyway, moving right on.
Spoilers.
Arjuna, what did you think regarding this episode? One word answer. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with flat.
Wow, Arjuna.
Do you want me to call? What's the NBA player? Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving.
Oh, well done. Well done. Look at that.
Thank you.
Ravi
Thank you.
dropping NBA nuggets.
Tying in everything that we do here. Sports, pop culture, and idiots that believe the earth is flat.
I just think it was...
That was loud.
I just think it was an episode that was super hyped up. And I would say, much like the rest of the season, it was flat.
Kind of like Rogue One when I first saw it. Did you leave our living room crying?
No, I wouldn't say I was in tears, but
I was in tears.
I'll start with that. I don't want to.
You got
Say
more,
more.
but
I
you
wanna
want to
say
save
more,
it.
yeah.
Well done. I guess I'll go. I'm going to say...
No, we don't want you.
I'm between 2 words. I want you guys to help me out, okay? I'm
Yep.
between 2 words.
Oh,
I
boy.
can't decide. Either, if I'm going to be polite, I'm going to go with underwhelming. If I'm going to be passionate, I'm going to say bollocks. The
Bollocks.
episode was bollocks.
Bollocks. Is that a bad word in England? Obviously,
Yeah.
that's a British term.
Yeah, bollocks is just... Yeah, bollocks is like kind of like stupid. Or,
yeah.
or just
So,
dumb.
So we're going with stupid, bollocks, and flat.
Yeah. Here's why. I'm going to drop this right now. This was supposed to be the penultimate battle episode. Battle of the Bastards was better. And
I agree.
Yeah.
For once in my life.
What do you mean once? We agree a lot. On a lot of
No,
things.
we don't agree. You think Justice League is a terrible movie. And I
So
think
do
it's
you.
Fascinating.
I mean, I thought Triple
can't
Frontier.
even say
I
it.
thought Triple Frontier was a great movie. And you guys think I'm trolling you.
Still do.
I
Still
kinda
do.
still.
No, I'm not that. No. But yeah, Battle of the Bastards was a better battle. Actually, our mother said this right after the episode. if they could have mixed some of last week's character development, all the stuff you don't like, with some action, and then this week added a little bit more of like some conversations and some, character moments, mix more of that in with the action, I think it would have been a little bit better. But yeah, I was highly disappointed. And that's where I'll end my turn in defense mode.
And actually, Christopher, you made a good point, and this is going to kind of move us to our other talking point here. Underwhelming, you said, right?
Yeah.
And Arjun, you said something similar too, where there was a hype build up, and so forth. And one of our talking points is, the HBO's marketing in general for this season, right? Obviously, this weekend is a very big weekend for this little movie. I don't know if people have heard of it. It's called Avengers Endgame. Big thing, marketing-wise, the whole shebang. That thing just blew everything out of the water. 1.2 billion worldwide sales. Everyone and their mother is talking about it. And then you have this thing that comes out, episode 3 of Game of Thrones. It was hyped up a little bit at the end of last week. Claims of, it's bigger than the Battle of Helm's Deep. It's going to be more intense. It took X amount of time. It cost X amount of dollars. There was a lot of boom, 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 a lot of glimmer and glamour. And then we got what we got, and based on the three of us, it seems like cool.
Yeah.
Right?
The battle itself, it was too much. It was too repetitive. Like there was too much of the same thing over and over and over again. And I know they were, trying to build up intensity, but to me, I almost felt bored during parts of it. Instead of being drawn into the action, I felt turned off by it because they would cut from a shot of Jaime fighting, then it would go to Brienne fighting, then it would go, to Tormund fighting, and then inevitably we make our way back to Jaime fighting.
Sure.
And then it just felt like this roundabout, and and during one of these cycles, something different might happen, right? Like, Arya escaped off of the roof, right? That was the one different thing. Then we have to cycle back through Jon and Daenerys in the sky, Jaime fighting. Samwell being just a clumsy coward.
Right.
Jorah has to save him. Again, and then we'd cycle back to Arya. Okay, now she's in the library or whatever. And it was too slow. It was repetitive. I was just bored by it, and the hype was a huge letdown. I haven't seen Two Towers in a minute, but I'm gonna say I think I enjoyed Helm's Deep a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to what you both said, like Battle of the Bastards, better battle.
So much better.
It's something we can remember, right? Like, the same as like Helm's Deep, or the battle actually at Gondor. Like, those are classic battles.
I'm not gonna lie, the Battle of Blackwater from season.
Oh yeah.
Season 3.
Season 3, I think, with the ships on the
Season 2.
Might have been season 2, yeah, where Tyrion leads. That was a better battle. Like, my gut, like this was supposed to surpass them all, and it was probably the worst big scale battle I think I've seen in Game of Thrones.
I think the issue was that something that Lord of the Rings did a masterful job at both the Two Towers and Return of the King is you have these massive battles, but you follow the characters you care about and you tell a story through that battle, and the battle keeps progressing. I feel like they didn't do that for this one. There were some story elements with like Jon and Daenerys, but it was confusing and it was almost hard to follow. Like the dragon battle should have been so much more epic in the sky, but I was just kind of left baffled by it a little bit.
Yeah, it was like one blast from the ice dragon, and that was it.
Right. And I feel
that was the battle.
I agree with you when you said they kept cycling through instead of just focusing like, all right, this 10 minutes is going to be about Brienne and Jaime and what they're doing and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It was a weird way to kind of portray this episode. I'm curious how much they shot and what's been left on the cutting floor, because I think this episode took like a month or months to film.
Well, the last thing I heard was 55 days.
Yeah, so it's almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Of just shooting this stuff, which means there's got to be plenty that they shot that didn't make it.
Right.
I just wonder if there's a different cut out there that's more entertaining.
Granted, with like any kind of epic battle, there are two ways to take it, right? And I always go back to Star Wars because I like Star Wars. I don't know if the listeners know this or if you two, knowing me, as long as you guys have, that I'm a Star Wars fan.
I'm shocked.
And with Star Wars, there are two specific moments in Star Wars history that people look upon in terms of what makes Star Wars and what doesn't make Star Wars. Episode 4, when Han and Luke go and rescue Leia in the prison cell. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of like movement, but there's dialogue, right? And what's interesting about that is that dialogue helps you understand these various characters. This is where you realize Leia is a badass. She takes the blaster and shoots her way out and saves herself, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And then I look at things like Rogue One, when they're on Jeddah, and Jin and Cassian. Jin, what have you become? Have you come to kill? Where Jin and Cassian are on Jeddah, and they're fighting their way with stormtroopers, and there's complete silence. There's no dialogue. The difference right there is between Episode 4 and Rogue One, I understand who Leia and Luke and Han are because they're talking, they're acting, they're reacting to things. While with Rogue One, I don't really care about those characters because they're not talking, they're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And while there's always that like a picture or an image or action is 1,000 words compared to dialogue, you still need some of it, right? Mm-hmm. We get Everyone is Afraid. We got that from Episode 2, but at the same time, all of this action, it got boring. It got to the point where it's like, cool, they're fighting. We were all, I was literally just sitting there going, okay, kill someone. Just kill someone.
Yeah.
I don't even care how you kill them.
Yeah.
Just fucking kill someone.
Yeah. I'm remiss to say because, no, I actually agree with that. I was waiting for someone to die, and I'm not sure if we're at that part of the episode podcast yet, but
not yet. I want to go back, like specifically on the marketing in general up until this point. This is the last season of Game of Thrones, right?
Wait, what?
I know.
Before the spin-off.
Before the spin-offs, and we get sick of Game of Thrones. We've spent almost 10 years.
We have?
Almost.
Has it really been almost 10 years?
It's like 8 years.
9?
Came out in 2011.
Remember, it's 9 because there's been a year. There's a gap here.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They took a year off. They took a semester off.
We spent a good chunk of our lives involved in this, and we've been building these characters up and whatever. And marketing wise, the first, the second, and now the third episode, it just feels like HBO is just letting us down. Like it almost seems like they just don't care, or they feel like we, the people, will kind of help push the marketing for them, which in some cases that does work.
It worked for this episode. Marketing is just to get you excited for the this episode. They released a few nuggets of information about like, the scene is the longest TV battle in history.
Right.
It's longer than Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. They even showed a trailer, but didn't show you any of the direct action. Really, so I actually think this episode, first episodes 1 and 2, where they virtually did nothing, they did a better job because I think there was a lot of excitement going into this weekend with, coupled with Endgame. Like personally, the three of us with our parents saw it on Saturday, and then today, Sunday, we saw Game of Thrones. So it was like a big weekend. I think where it fails is in the execution of the episode. The episode is flat.
It's stupid, as we say.
So I would say the marketing team did a good job for this episode.
But I'm talking more in general.
Sure.
In general, do we feel like do they care?
Well, I mean, if we don't like this season so far, right? We're halfway through 3 episodes. I don't want to speak for everyone here, but it seems like the general consensus here is underwhelmed.
I don't like this season.
What is there to market? It's like how do you market something that's bad or not entertaining, or like the first 2 episodes are just
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's look at what the tobacco industry did. They marketed things that literally killed you. Maybe we should go talk to them.
It's done a little bit differently now. Those same ads don't quite fly.
Anyway, moving along to Christian's other point about the lack of death in this episode, right? The lack of death. And what I mean by that is, let's be honest here, a lot of people died, but a lot of people we don't care about died, right? A lot of the background characters made their demise.
So there were 5, right? Do you want to go through that list?
There were 5 main deaths.
Really? I only remember 3.
"Quote unquote" main. The biggest one is Theon Greyjoy, which was the easiest death to probably call in this entire series of all time. As soon as he said, "I'll protect you, Bran," he was a goner. The next biggest one was Jorah Mormont dying, which a lot of people saw telegraphed with the sword being handed over to him from Sam.
Yep.
In the previous week's episode.
Good point.
Beric Dondarrion was another big one. Again, also pretty much kind of foreshadowed last week with the Hound telling Beric that your friend isn't around to bring you back this time. So you kind of knew, like, oh, well, you're probably going to die. Another big one. Well, I wouldn't say this one's big, but these other two aren't main characters, but they're known characters. Ed from the Night's Watch being another one who died, and that was also telegraphed because Sam, John, and Ed had a moment standing on the wall at Winterfell, being talking about who would be standing and all that type of stuff. So you kind of knew of the three of them, he was the most expendable. And then maybe the most heartbreaking, but I would say coolest death was Lyanna Mormont.
Mm-hmm. That was the most badass death.
That was the most badass death. She gets crushed by the White Walker giant, and as she's being crushed, she gets enough strength just to stab the giant in the eye.
Yep.
With dragon glass, and he shatters. And that's a big win at that moment because that giant was literally going to kill everyone.
Yeah. If
she hadn't done that. So that was probably besides Theon's, like hers and Theon's death were actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
The other three were just kind of like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Jorah's made sense because he died protecting,
Daenerys.
the woman he loves. So it was done the right way. Like that was the only way he was, was going to go out, if that makes sense. Even that being said, it could have been done better, or it was still kind of boring. I don't know. I didn't care that much. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't have a lot of even when Theon died, I just didn't have an emotional connection. I don't know if I'm just in the wrong state of mind. I don't know if it's because we saw Endgame and I'm still, I was more emotionally moved by that. I just don't know. I don't know.
I would just say Theon's death was very telegraphed.
Yeah.
And I think all these deaths were very telegraphed.
Yeah.
These were the deaths that don't hit you in the feels.
So, like,
That's true.
Theon's death was telegraphed, and his story is kind of, he redeemed himself. Where else was he going to go?
Yeah.
Now, if you take a character like Arya, and she just dies, that's going to hit you in the feels because you're like, wait, I thought there was so much story left with her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Or a character like Sansa, or Tyrion. You know what I mean? Like, let's say Tyrion and Sansa, like, died in the crypt at the end in that moment, right?
Like we thought they were going to?
Yeah.
Well, we thought they were going to commit suicide.
I think I made the argument last week that they needed to kill not just main characters, but they needed to kill one of like the big five characters, right?
Yeah.
The point of view characters that have been like they needed to kill a Jon or Daenerys or a Sansa or an Arya, and they didn't. Like they didn't even kill Bran.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird to me.
Well, this is like
this
is like Marvel when they did Civil War, and there were just there were no stakes.
Well, Marvel before Endgame.
Yeah,
really, not to
spoilers, spoilers.
Not to spoil Endgame, but there are real stakes in Endgame, right?
Yeah.
And that's all we'll say about that.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
But the other 21 movies, there are no real stakes. There are characters that die, but again, it's all telegraphed, and there's no real impact.
That pattern bodes well, though, right? So if you're gonna take the Endgame, Infinity War, Marvel thing, they kept it was low stakes until the stakes actually did matter, and then they did follow through, right, without saying anything more than that. Maybe Game of Thrones is going to do the same thing, because let's be honest, what would hit you in the feels? Jaime getting killed by a White Walker, or Jaime getting killed by Cersei?
Probably the latter.
Or Jaime getting killed by Bronn, who was hired by Cersei.
Sure. Yeah, probably the latter.
It's probably that. So I'm not ready to give up all hope on the season. Maybe the executives viewed the White Walkers as this like necessary evil. They have to get through it, but they knew it was never going to have maybe the emotional impact of what they have planned. And I'm still holding out hope for that.
So you're saying then that the last 3 episodes we're going to get what we've been wanting?
What, in the last 3? In the last 3?
Yeah.
Like meaningful action?
Action, meaningful death, just something to actually care.
Yes, I think so.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping,
Sure.
and I think we will.
So I bring this up because I want to move on to the.
Well, there's one death we actually didn't mention. The Night Kings. That's another.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to get into that point. All right.
Sure.
So they killed the one thing personally that I care about in this entire stupid show, right?
Frank.
That's what I call him. I
Why-
call the Night King Frank. Why do I call him Frank?
No. Why
Frank
did
is
you
just
care
a
about
common.
him?
What? Sorry?
Why did you care about him?
Because he had a clear and decisive plan of action.
Yes.
He wanted to wipe all life from existence.
Right.
And he had the means to do it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing stopping him. Literally nothing. Right? A couple of idiots banded together.
Some dragons.
Some dragons, some other
glass, Valyrian
nonsense.
steel,
Whatever. They build
Targaryens.
up this gigantic thing, and then they get rid of like the Night King, the White Walkers, and everything. They've been the thing since the very beginning. How does Game of Thrones, the HBO series, start? It starts with 3 people running away from White Walkers, right? And you see this thing, and you're watching it for the first time. Like the very first time I watched this, I was like, this is cool. This isn't going to be some stupid drama show about, oh, I want to sit on your throne. There was this evil coming down to just fuck everything up.
But the show
And
has
now he's gone.
But the show mostly
and I'm sad.
But the show mostly has been about the stupid drama of who is going to sit on the throne.
But he was still there.
I want to point one thing out because Ivy's right. The show very rarely makes mistakes in how things that they shoot. Like there's always some significance, right? They don't just go into things willy-nilly. And the show does start with essentially a White Walker attack or whatever on the little.
Yeah.
One thing just occurred to me that I think we forgot about. It was at the end of last season when Daenerys and Jon and that whole company meet with Cersei. Who and they bring a White Walker with them.
Yep.
Who took the White Walker arm to study it? Who's already created a zombie in the mountain?
Oh.
Yes. So that just occurred to me. So potentially,
Well done.
Yeah. Potentially,
Frank lives?
there's redemption for that story arc that
The dead.
because I agree with you, right? It's been framed through the entire thing as the greatest evil to face
Them.
the living, mankind. It does seem a little strange to kill off that evil that has been the overriding theme. Winter is coming, for crying out loud. 3 episodes short. 3 episodes early.
Right.
So I'm going to contend with perhaps there is redemption for the show.
Well,
And that is the thing.
Not to backtrack too much, but we did forget to mention one other major death. Melisandre.
Who?
Who cares?
Was another big one.
Oh, yeah.
That whole thing was annoying.
It
was stupid.
But that was also the end of last season too. She told Varys, neither of us are getting out of this alive. So Varys is going to die at some point. We know that.
Varys is the bald one?
He's the bald eunuch, yeah.
Oh.
And so we already kind of knew she was a goner because she foretold her own death.
And she even said it in this episode.
In this episode, yeah. I'm not going to see out the night. So yeah, there we go. So there's a little bit of hope for you.
Though it seemed like she pretty much committed suicide just by going out in the snow because her purpose was done at that point.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Because her whole thing was to even
serve
with
the
Stannis,
Lord of
Serve
even
Light.
with
the Lord
Stannis
of
was
Light.
to find the king, who would stop the long night, or the night terror, or whatever it is.
Coming. Yeah.
Which
That-
turned out
Her thing.
to be
John Farts.
no. It was Arya Stark.
It was Arya Stark.
Arya Stark is the one that killed the Night King.
Yeah, she was looking for a Lord of Light.
So
No. She was serving the Lord of Light to find the one who would.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the warriors as she
Faceless
gives him
men?
she gives the warrior a name, the Azulor or something. I forget what it is. But so according to the prophecy, that person is
right.
Arya Stark, not Jon Snow, not Daenerys. Arya Stark.
Unless Arya's not Arya. Oh, I this
think
episode. I think this episode maybe put that theory to bed that she is Arya, but I still hold out hope that she isn't. That she's the waif. I hold out hope because to me that would be a cool twist.
How did she get out there?
What do you mean?
How did she get past Frank and his buddies, right? They seem like they're competent people, and an army of the dead.
Here, I'll tell you how.
Please.
So
I really
you
wanna
have
know.
you have Winterfell,
Sure.
and you have the army of the dead coming from north. So she clearly came from southwest, and then she angled.
Get
up,
out.
And then she and then
Get
she
out.
moved
Logical.
east.
You're trolling.
And then she moved east.
Get
and then,
out.
But she gave herself enough distance, right? And so she came down. So it looked like she was coming from the north, but she just sort of, Yeah.
Is he being? Are you being serious right
No,
now?
I'm.
But seriously, like she
trying
just
to give you an
literally
explanation.
comes out of nowhere. Like, so you're telling me she ran through a bunch of army dead fuckers in the stupid castle,
I thought you said hookers for a second.
right? Somehow
Hookers.
sneaks behind all these
No,
other
no, she ain't going from behind. She
dead
came
idiots.
She came from the southwest.
jumps out of nowhere.
She didn't jump. She rode in on a horse, right?
No, she literally comes out of like the sky.
Oh well. You know what?
Because remember, Frank grabs her up here, like so she was falling or jumping into him or something. I don't know. Like how did she do that?
Wait, are we talking about Melisandre?
No, Arya.
Oh,
When she murders Frank.
we're on that part. Okay, so here's how. She is a faceless man, so she actually took the face of a White Walker and put it on her face, and was a White Walker as she snuck through the White Walkers.
I'm sorry, did you?
And then took her face off and then jumped at Frank.
Is this like a plot device from The Walking Dead?
It might as well be. Did anyone else get the impression that this episode literally was Walking Dead meets How to Train Your Dragon 2? Because that's what it felt like.
Kit Harington voices a character in How to Train Your Dragon.
I rest my case.
Does
he really? Rest my
That's
case.
funny.
I think in the third one or the second, I don't know. It's one of them.
But
yeah.
so just to backtrack a little bit, Ravi, I do understand that Frank meant a lot to you in terms of, the narrative of the story, and that his death seemed untimely, premature, and easy.
Yeah, way too easy.
We didn't earn it.
He's the most badass character of all time. He literally brings the dead back to go and fuck your shit up.
Yeah. That is what he does.
That's all he's good at.
Yeah.
And now he's dead. And like, we saw Endgame. I didn't cry during that nonsense. I saw this. I didn't cry. I shed a tear. I shed multiple tears for Frank.
No, you didn't.
You did not.
I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now.
Just to backtrack,
Just a bit.
to backtrack a little bit about the prophecy that Melisandre talked about. It's the prince that was promised, sometimes called the prince who was promised, the Lord's chosen, the son of fire, warrior of light, who she thought was Stannis Baratheon. According to the prophecy, the figure would be born amidst salt and smoke and pull a sword named Lightbringer from flames, which they would use to combat in impending darkness. The prophecy was originally written in High Valyrian.
What if Cersei's the darkness?
Could be, but as if we thought the darkness was the Night King,
Yeah.
she is.
So I'm going to go back
The
then to
warrior of
my
light.
previous point. I think the darkness is Cersei and her hand. The mage or the priest guy who created the mountain and then is studying the dead. I think to do horrible things. Maybe that's the darkness,
To make the fake army of the dead.
or maybe a better army of the dead. I don't know.
It's-
Or at least to like arm the troops with something crazy. I don't know. Anyway, that's I think I just went into my theory for the rest of the episode. So there, you have my theory. What's
It's
next?
a game theory. Well, our host is on his phone right now.
How
Come back.
How rude of me.
Come back to reality.
Focus up, host.
Yeah.
I'm not over Frank.
Let's
Well-
talk about the battle strategy.
Okay, the battle strategy
Because
made
that
no
might-
sense.
That might be the dumbest part of the whole episode.
I don't understand what your issue was with the down strat. It was sound to me. Sound.
Let's send all
Let's-
of our Dothraki
Sound.
into the darkness to get them wiped out.
Sound strategy.
Right.
Here's why I think they would have done it is because that strategy I think is one of the more popular ones from medieval battle tactics.
Sure.
Albeit medieval battle tactics is man fighting man. So I wish that I would have taken that into account. But the idea is though the White Walkers are not mounted and
Horsemen,
horsemen cavalry has
yeah.
a huge advantage over non-mounted stuff, right? Obviously, Jon Snow, who has fought the dead multiple times, should have foreseen that that advantage wouldn't amount to anything.
I'm going to be honest. Jon has proven time and time again in Game of
Ineffective?
Thrones that he's a horrible battle strategist. Battle of the Bastards, he would have lost if it hadn't been for Sansa coming in
With the
with the other Northern folk to save his ass.
no, not the Northern folk, the Knights of the Vale.
Right.
Yeah.
Northern folk. In the Battle of Hardhorn, they got their asses wiped.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another good battle. Another good one.
The battle of the Wall, they lost a bunch of people,
Yeah, but he saved a bunch of people too.
and then he also got assassinated. I rest my case. He sucks.
So John's just kind of an idiot.
John is a little overrated when it comes to
Pretty much everything. Let's be honest.
Arjuna. I don't know. The ladies love him.
It's clear that
So he has an advantage.
The
in
person who
bed.
killed Frank was Arya Stark, not Jon Snow, not Daenerys,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's a
Just
good point.
saying.
That's a good point because I think
not Theon. Theon had a chance.
yeah, he had the same chance as
Arya.
the Rockets against the Warriors.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. The Warriors, the Rockets have a chance.
One of the best things on Twitter right now are the sports analogies coming up for Game of
I
Thrones.
love it.
And one of them is like the infamous Patriots Falcons Super Bowl 51.
This one's good.
Where the Falcons had a 28-3 lead over the Patriots with 17 minutes to go in the game. So people are like, White Walkers up 28-3. They blow the lead. They blow it. They blew it.
They blew the lead.
They literally blew the whole damn lead.
Blew the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the writers blew it.
So stupid. But yeah, the battle strategy made no sense. And talking more about the visuals of the battle, it was jarring. There was a lot going on. A lot of people have complained with Game of Thrones, especially this season, that it seems like you need to turn your brightness up on your TV screen because everything is dark, dark, dark. Now, don't get me wrong. We've seen like in Hollywood and other TV shows and movies like the darkness or dark sequences. Game of Thrones takes it to another level where it's so dark, it's kind of, I don't know what's happening, and it's annoying.
It would have been effective if this had played out closer to a horror movie, right? A horror movie, we've seen plenty of horror movies with zombies in them, right? This could have been really cool if they had played up that angle. Maybe shot it a little bit closer to a horror movie. And I think they tried that in certain parts. It didn't work though, for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it was our TV. Maybe it was our setup. Maybe we need a better surround sound. Maybe we need it darker. Maybe then it would have been more effective. But to me, I think that maybe that's what they were trying to go for, and I wish they would have executed that part of it more effectively. Because let's be honest, we've seen so many zombies at this point. Zombies just aren't that scary anymore. They're just not. They're not scary.
It felt like the editor cut like the Bourne movies.
Yeah, the sequences were like 2 seconds.
Like at least with Lord of the
And then
Rings,
boom,
like
cut.
you got
2 seconds
you
cut.
got your establishing. It took a long time to figure out where you were and who you were with in these sequences, and they cut it too quickly. It could have worked if it had just been given some breathing room, but it was. And I guess you're in the chaos of battle. I understand that, but it was just. I think at one point we were all watching. We're like, oh, is Brienne dead?
Yeah.
Like it was hard to.
There was
tell.
a couple of times where we're like,
this character, like, I thought, Tormund's dead now. Oh, Sam's dead. No, they're alive.
Yeah.
somehow they're still alive.
Right.
Plot-
Or maybe they all
plot
died.
device.
Maybe the writers hear all the backlash of like lack of deaths, and then they change next week's episode where like just 4 characters just died from their wounds.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like off-screen deaths.
It would be
Sam dead. Tormund dead.
it would be slightly redemptive because it would be hilarious.
But it would also feel like more realistic.
That's true.
John died from his wounds. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
or someone got infected. Like Jesus Christ, you have all these open wounds and a bunch of dead stuff running around. Have you ever heard of this thing called syphilis? Wait, that's something different. Never mind.
Wait, what the hell?
I also find it
Anyways.
funny that a lot of people called the whole crypt thing, and it came true.
Yeah, I mean it's so obvious.
And a lot of people died, except again the main characters that were down there. The 4 mains that were down there.
The 4 main characters there
were
doing nothing.
We're all fine. They all made it out peacefully.
There was
And
only a few dead bodies down there.
it seemed like a lot of people died down there.
Yeah.
Except the 3 main characters.
The four
main
that were
characters
down there. Yeah.
Who were the 4?
It would be Sansa, Tyrion.
Varys and Gilly.
I guess 5 then. And what's her name?
Missandei.
Missandei.
Sunday.
What I did find interesting, like I called it last week. I said that Grey Worm was going to die solely because he's
I had it on there too.
yeah, as a African American actor,
But he lived.
or character or whatever, and he lived. So like, props to them for not like falling into the stereotype of having to kill the non-white characters first.
I mean, not even Podrick died.
Yeah, and he's not a fighter. Like
No, he is. Like Brienne's
he's
been
become a fighter.
Oh, you're thinking of Samwell?
no, Podrick.
No, yes. Brienne's been teaching him as a knight. That was a scene last week. where
Right,
he's
but
become
like,
good.
how many battles has he actually been in?
It doesn't matter. Like they showed a scene where
He was
he
in
was
Blackwater.
besting. He was besting like men.
Some person.
Men
Still,
warriors.
that's just
and
like
women.
really. Come on,
besting
come on,
men of war.
come on. So if you were to like compare, I think it's pretty obvious. Like the big marketing strategy for this was like comparing it to Helm's Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a comparison,
No.
or is this just radically not the same thing, or
Not-
even of the same thread?
I wouldn't put it in the same breath.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would say that's a big insult to Helm's Deep.
Yeah, Uruk-hai were way more interesting of an adversary than the zombies are. Simple as that.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, it still holds up. If you go back and watch some of those battle sequences, they're still epic.
Yeah.
There's still things that those types of battle scenes, in my opinion, still haven't been done. They still haven't been executed on film or on TV.
Yeah.
And say what you will about Peter Jackson as the director, we've all seen The Hobbits. They were terrible.
King
I
Kong.
loved the Hobbits. So you do not lump me in with that.
You like?
I'm sorry, you
wait,
like the first Hobbit? Are you serious?
I like the first, second, and third Hobbit.
Christian, stop trolling us.
I'm not. I actually enjoyed
you
those
like,
movies.
You like the Hobbit trilogy? Wow.
Yes.
I actually did not know
You're
that.
like
I
one
did
in
not
a
know that.
million.
I know that because people wanted the Hobbit to be like Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And the Hobbit was never like Lord of the
Well,
Rings.
no, actually, that is my problem with the Hobbit. They tried to make it Lord of the Rings.
That's
No,
why it's 3
no.
movies.
Yeah, and
those-
I loved every second of it. We're not going there. I win.
Okay.
You can't win when you're wrong.
Yes, you can. Donald Trump. Anyways,
Our host has gone to sleep again.
yes, yes.
I have not gone to sleep.
You
I'm
need
still
to
sad.
focus.
I am
Put your phone away.
I am still sad about Frank. Now, we've kind of gone through a lot of this.
Did we do what
already.
we didn't do our favorite and least favorite parts?
I mean,
I guess I got
I
lumped in.
think we kind of know. I'm gonna guess, Arjuna, your favorite part was.
The credits.
I'm thinking of somebody's death. That's my thinking right now. I
already said it. Liana's Mormont's death was my favorite
okay.
part of the episode.
What about yours?
My favorite part. I'm gonna say the one shot from far away from Daenerys and Jon looking down, and then the Dothraki are riding toward the White Walkers with their swords on fire. That one far away shot.
No. The best shot.
No, that was my favorite part.
Oh, okay. The best shot, though, cinematography, the whole shebang, was when Frank and his boys were walking up on Bran.
that was
that
cool.
was badass.
No.
was cool.
The best.
That was cool.
No.
That
like
was cool.
it was so cool.
It was cool.
I'm legitimately
No.
sitting here thinking, how do I honor the greatest character ever? Oh, easy. Cosplay as him. And you two have to be my ding dong.
I'm bald. I would have to be him. You have hair. You have
Would
to
you
be a
do
long
it?
hair.
Would you do it?
Yeah, but
Okay,
That'd be-
let's figure out how to do it.
So you're Frank, and
I'll
then
be Frank.
and then
And you and I can just be some.
you have to
some
have long
white
hair.
walk-
You have to have
yeah.
long hair.
yeah, I'll do it.
That'd be cool. And then we'll
grow it out.
and we'll walk around in slow motion.
Yeah, and then we'll have I don't know. We'll have like some Kill Bill music playing behind us.
I missed him so much. He was like the son I never had.
You have a son. His name is Megatron.
And he's a cat. Yeah, he's over there.
He was actually running around on this table.
That's true. He was. Least favorite part.
Oh God, why do you
The
start?
whole thing.
No. Come back to me.
Juna, I have one.
Yeah, you go ahead.
My least favorite part is gonna be anything with Brienne, Tormund, or Jaime. Those sequences with those characters were just annoying because you've built up these characters. They mean something to us, and then you just kind of have them throwing themselves around like idiots. There was no discussions. There was no talking. There was just I'm waving my sword around like a mad person, and that was like that's just not interesting, right? Like Jaime was the Kingslayer, and now he's going. That's my Jaime impression.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I liked it.
My
liked the impression.
my least favorite part was anything with the dragons because Arjuna said it earlier. It was just so disappointing. Like you have 3 dragons. That should be an epic battle in the sky, and we got almost nothing. Most of it was just the dragons flying around. And I understand that was a strategy on the Night King's part, pulling in the mist to make everything really hard to see. Doesn't matter.
No. He was pulling in winter.
Winter, whatever. Okay.
Winter
the fact
fell.
The fact is, we should have had 2-on-1 dragon battle action, and we didn't get that.
They like ran into each other, and
Yeah.
and they I thought it was
It was
cool when
annoying
Jon
as-
and the Night King's dragons were kind of biting at each other, but again, it was just hard to tell what was going on.
Yeah. Too much.
My least favorite part is a scene that's in the crypt. I think it's like the second scene in the crypt where Tyrion and Sansa are having conversation. And, Sansa says, "Oh, you were the best of my 3 husbands that I've had."
True.
And then they talk politics shop. She's like, "Well, it never worked. You support the Dragon Queen." And then Missandei's like, "Yeah, without the the Dragon Queen wouldn't be, this wouldn't be an issue because we'd all be dead. And it felt weird to put that into, like, when that was, like, the most dialogue almost in the entire episode, or if I was, like, one of the big dialogue points. It's just weird to, once again, like, shoehorn, and it felt shoehorn, like, the coming conflict of what is following with the, Cersei versus Daenerys versus Jon versus Sansa. It just like, and why would you even, like, why would they discuss that at that point? Like, they're all gonna die. I don't know. I didn't like that part.
Well, clearly they didn't. Only the one true king got killed.
Frank,
I'm seriously still kind of annoyed by this.
Was this more annoying to you than Rogue One? Like this episode?
I'm gonna say I've grown since that fateful moment of Rogue
Actually,
One.
you've shrunk a little.
Shut up.
I measured you the other day.
Shut up. And it's a very similar feeling of, like, just
big disappointment.
Mad disappointment. Honestly, to the point where if for some reason I didn't see episode 4 of Game of Thrones next week, I'd be okay with it. If somebody ruined or spoiled it for me, A-okay.
We have to do it for the podcast.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, if somebody on the internet was watching right now and they happen to know what's happening, and they happen to DM me,
I can tell you what happens.
Ravi_Ramgopal on Twitter, what happens? I wouldn't be mad.
Sure, I'll tell you what happens. They're
Sure.
gonna fight in the next 3 episodes. They're gonna fight Cersei. Cersei will lose, and then it'll be a fight between Jon, Daenerys, and Sansa, Arya, and whoever's still alive for the throne. And then there'll be one winner, and that's it.
And that sounds abso-fucking-lutely boring. That sounds like the worst way to end this. And I'm going to keep harping on this, and I will harp on this for the remainder of us doing these podcasts for Game of Thrones. You got rid of the only thing that was interesting and that made this show different, right? Because all it's come back down to is a bunch of people that believe that they're a bunch of entitled pricks that believe they deserve to be on the throne. And that's a boring story. That is a super boring story. I hate it.
But the intrigue, the drama, the love triangles.
No, it's boring television.
I mean, I think a lot of people would disagree with you. They would say that the Night King is the boring part because we get that in every blockbuster,
Absolute
movie.
evil.
Absolute evil versus
But we
good,
never have
blah,
them
blah, blah.
win. And he had everything.
You're watching the wrong show. The show was never set up for them to win.
But that's the thing, though, is like...
The books aren't going to have him win either.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, is like I looked at this from the first season where Ned Stark dies.
Yes.
Spoiler, by the way. Where
What?
I know, right? And Snape kills Dumbledore. And never mind. Anyway, I looked at that and I was
Thanos
like, this
wins.
show is different because in the first season you grow attached to Ned Stark. He's a good guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Society tells us somebody like Ned Stark is a good person. Our stories, for the most part, tell us the good guy wins, right? The good guy gets the girl, whatever you want to call it, right? He wins, but in season 1, he gets his head chopped off. And you're like, oh, wait a second. This isn't a happy, good place. Things go terribly wrong. That's why I had hope then that I was like, this thing called the Night King, he's got all the tools needed to win, to take it over, to like really stick it to the man. And then they stabbed him in this chest.
But what would be more interesting?
Brutal murder.
Like
They
this
murdered him.
This
They
force
didn't
of
actually stab him in the chest.
He was like right in the
Yeah, it was
gut.
like the gut.
good enough. What would be better though? Like Jon getting killed by the Night King, or Jon Snow getting killed by Daenerys. Like that is
The
more
Night King-
interesting.
the Night King.
No, because the Night
The
King is an
Night King.
unthinking, unfeeling.
He's not unthinking. He used to be a human being, and then the
But it doesn't matter. They
motivation?
haven't set him up.
The tree people.
They haven't even set him up
They
for
treat
anything other
people-
than move south and make everything cold.
That's true. There's
and
no
give myself
motivation
some
behind
friends.
him. Or there hasn't
He
been
was
a
to wipe
development.
out all life. What other Hey, there was this
But
other.
that's a
there was this
straightforward boring
other.
motivation.
There was this other gigantic nut job named Thanos that did something similar, and you all were rooting for him at one point.
Because they built. He has
an
family. He has a reason. The Night King has no reason other than move south, make everything cold, give myself some friends by raising the dead. That is his motivation.
It's true. Even in episode 2.
That's still motivation, though. You're saying he has
we're
no motivation.
we're guessing on those motivations.
We're peaking. We're peaking.
Oh, that's
here.
good. That is good.
But that's the thing, though, is he has motivation. His
No.
motivation is to wipe all life out.
That's a boring end, though. If he wins,
How is that
that's
a boring end? How is Daenerys,
That's a boring end.
How is Daenerys or Jon or Timbuktu or Tom, Dick, or Harry getting on the throne any more interesting? That's less interesting because I've seen that a billion fucking times. I've never seen a terrible source of evil take over and actually win.
This was never going to be the show to do that. There's no point in building up all of these characters and following them for 8 seasons if they're all going to die at the end. That doesn't make any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
No.
Life doesn't end happily. It ends horribly.
No, life just ends.
Well, okay, sure, it just ends, but still, it would have been cooler. It would have been way
I think
cooler.
I think you're in the minority on
Yeah,
this one.
you're
That's
the only
fine.
person.
I'm fine with
You
that.
need to write to HBO
I've
and
got- I
tell
have.
them to make
I
you
have.
and just you a director's cut where the whole show ended in episode 3. Sure. But then he just wins.
I'll say this.
That's it.
Right, I'll say this. Movies and movies have been around for over 100 years now, right?
Yes.
The first movie came out in 1915. The visual medium has boomed since then. There's a reason there aren't very many movies or TV shows where the bad guys win. It doesn't make compelling drama.
To me, we need a big change in the world, and I think
Then
maybe
you need to write it and shoot it and show that that's
Even-
a viable thing.
Yeah.
God, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's the only
Right.
way.
Even Shakespearean tragedies where everyone does generally die at the end.
Tragedies?
A tragedy.
Tragedies.
Tragedy.
A tragedy.
Tragedy.
Ravi, by this definition, your favorite movie, and it shouldn't even be close, should be The Departed.
No, I do like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
So that,
good
that
movie.
should be your number one by far. Because
No, no, no,
everyone
You should hate The Dark
dies.
Knight. You should hate like The Dark Knight because the Joker loses.
Yeah.
Does he though? He
Yes.
changes. No, he doesn't. He changes things, and because of his actions, he causes the city to go into a freaking lockdown mode. He wins. He does not
No,
lose.
He loses, and it's
His initial plan, he loses, but he starts something new. He
His ultimate plan
changes
no.
how people think.
But it didn't because it's illustrated in the boat scene where he wants them to blow each other up and they don't.
Right.
Because they haven't changed the way he's wanted to.
Right.
So he ultimately fails.
But then 5 years later, this idiot named Bane comes along.
Who
and
loses?
not motivated by the Joker at all.
Who loses?
No, but because of the actions of the Joker allows Bane to get the control that he needs.
But he still loses.
Yeah, he still loses.
The city still thrives at the end.
They
and
still
they win
the good
out.
guys.
The good guys still
yeah.
win.
Yeah, sure. There's some setbacks for the good guys. Like there isn't everything.
I hate you both.
Yeah.
I hate you both.
It's just,
There's ultimately an optimistic ending in almost everything.
I hate optimism.
Right, we still have 3 episodes. Things could still go horribly south. Like I said, the mountain.
I mean, they are going south, so.
oh,
Quite
whoa.
See
literally.
what I did there?
Whoa,
I'm
yeah,
a comedian.
Oh, Watchmen.
Ha 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 ha.
Are we at that part of the episode or the podcast? I keep calling this an episode.
Well, I just real quick, just for a payoff. Last week we said we promised to do this. We gave our guesses as to who would die. We each gave 2 characters. Krishna, you guessed Jaime Lannister and Podrick. You were wrong on both.
Yep.
Ravi, you guessed Bran Stark and Grey Worm. You were wrong on both. I guessed Theon Greyjoy and Grey Worm. I was right on one of them.
Well, whoop the effing do.
Do we have any predictions for next week? Any bold predictions we want to throw out there?
They go south. From the previews, it looks like they're coming back. It looks like Cersei's going to get ready for their arrival. I'm going to guess next week nothing major happens. Except that, it's like,
nothing happened,
nothing
basically.
happens, yeah. But the usual stuff. We mourn the dead. The 5 or 6 characters who died, we mourn them a little bit. They go south. Cersei gets ready. Blah, de, blah, de, blah.
Arjuna?
Bronn maybe even makes contact, but is unable to pull the arrow and kill them.
Arjuna?
I believe
That we will win.
that a major character will die next week.
Yeah, but you got to name the character.
Okay, you can't have this much dead air.
Character.
Okay, moving on.
No, I think the character that will die next week will be Tyrion. He will be assassinated.
By Bronn?
Yes.
I doubt that.
I'm just trying to make my life exciting.
I'm gonna make a crazier prediction. I'm actually not gonna make a prediction about the show. I predict.
You have to.
No, I'm gonna make a insane wild prediction that I don't think is gonna come true at all.
About the show.
No. It's related to the show. I'm actually gonna enjoy and become a Game of Thrones fan again after next week's episode. Something will happen. Don't know what it is, but something will change or it will snap in my head. I'm like, oh wait, maybe they're actually listening to me, and I will become a fan again.
You read a spoiler, didn't you?
No, I'm not saying anything.
You did.
I'm not. I'm not trolling you,
what
guys.
spoiler
I'm not
is there?
trolling you. I
What's-
swear, I'm not trolling you. I didn't read anything. Somebody didn't message me. Something didn't happen. I don't know anything.
You have to tell us.
No, I'm just gonna sit here and smile.
Yeah, there's something. There's something.
There, I'm not saying anything. Or this could be the troll. Oh.
So what happened?
I'm not saying anything. For the viewer's sake, guys, I think it's that
For
time.
the watch.
I think it's that time.
Let's start with you. Ravi, was Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night good?
No.
What a shock.
Krishna was Game of Thrones season 3 episode. No. Was the thing that we just watched that we were talking about? Was it good?
No. Okay. Arjuna, was that Game of Thrones episode any good?
No.
Damn. That is depressing.
Would you any of you watch it again?
No.
Mine depends on how the next 3 episodes go. If the next if this show doesn't wrap up in a way that I enjoy, there's no reason. It's like How I Met Your Mother, how that ended. Like there were good episodes,
Yeah.
but because of the end, I'll never go back and watch it. The same thing for this. It depends on how the next 3 episodes go.
So
maybe.
if you had to project now, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen half the season. Would you project it to be a yes or a no?
I'm gonna project it to be a yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You're a very optimistic person, aren't
Because
you?
because of things I've said, things that I think will the directions that they could go.
Right.
I think there'll be some compelling
I would
stuff.
also probably watch this again. Because I'll
Yeah, I'd
probably
definitely
I'll probably
watch it again.
rewatch Thrones one day in my life again.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
You got to show your kids
The Churls.
Megatron.
Megatron. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for listening. We were Was It Good? We just finished watching Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. We collectively decided it wasn't good.
Our 5th unanimous no.
Wow.
It's like we like each other.
What do you guys want to hit the other 4?
No. Thank you. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Was It Good or on Instagram at Was It Good BTM. We're part of the larger group, Bad Tacos Media. Thank you and good night.
And that's the end of the record.
So what were the other 4?
The other 4 for our streamers that have stuck around. Drum roll, please.
Do we have streamers or comments?
Let's see.
No comments,
No
actually.
comments, sadly.
I am
Send us your
shocking.
comments.
I am.
Just
because I keep yelling.
The other 4 were Aquaman, Venom, Pacific Rim Uprising, and Star Trek Discovery Season 1.
Wait, we all didn't like Venom? It was such a good movie.
I wanted to like it.
Krishna was the only one that wanted to like it.
Yeah, I wanted to like it real hard,
Wow.
but I couldn't.
I wanted this episode to actually be like, so this weekend was interesting, right? We had 3 gigantic pop culture like events: the draft, Endgame, and then Game of Thrones. Only one of those things lived up to the giant hype.
The draft was successful.
The draft sucked.
But I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, it got the viewership and people liked it.
Yeah, but in terms of like the actual picks, the first top 5, what was it?
10.
I forget who. There was like 2 or 3 of the picks in the top 5 or 10 where it was just like, what is happening?
Well, it all went sideways when the Giants took Daniel Jones at 6.
Yes, I think that was there we go.
The draft is boring. Thank you.
Yeah, just like Game of Thrones.
I like football. The draft is boring. The combine is boring. The preseason is boring. The Super Bowl.
Don't you dare!
Unless it
talk
has the
bad
Patriots, it's
about,
boring.
About the preseason. So what do we have coming up next, guys? For Was It Good?
Well, we're going to be doing a Avengers Endgame podcast / Cry Fest.
At some point this week, either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday or
Wednesday,
Thursday.
yeah.
Yes.
Wednesday or Thursday. Because Tuesday, for some reason, doesn't work, and I can't remember why.
Why, are you doing something? You have a date?
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
If you know what Christian is doing on Tuesday, tweet us at Was It Good?
Oh, Mom, if you're watching, you can now put your clothes on to wash.
Wow.
Thank you, Sonny.
That's pretty goofy, actually. What do you want to do for like social clips from this?
I already put one.
Night King
rant at the end of at the end of the pod where Ravi, you were going on about why he should have won, and you guys were kind of going back and forth about
because
motivation.
he should have.
I don't think he can't win, but it shouldn't have been in this early.
No, it should have been. This is how it should have gone.
This should have been the final episode, and everyone should die.
We should have had this massive battle. No, we should have had this massive battle. They get horribly defeated. They somehow run away. They regroup with Cersei. blah, blah, blah. Some other things happen. There's another big battle. He then finally comes, wipes those idiots out, and then he's just sitting on the throne, and that's the end.
Actually, one thing I didn't get to say in the podcast that Game of Thrones normally does really well, but did poorly in this episode. Whenever you have these big moments, you really don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know who's going to survive. This episode, that when you had the music like really dramatic and like all the main characters were surrounded and stuff, pretty much about to die, you knew that the Night King was going to die. Like that was the only way it was going to go. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, every single major character at Winterfell would have died. And you knew that they were going to kill... You thought at least they would kill some, but you knew there was no chance they were killing every single one.
Right.
And so I actually think they did a horrible job of that by putting them all at the very same time, like right on the cusp of dying.
Yeah, because you knew the only way to save them all was to kill the Night King.
Right. So you knew Daenerys and Jon and Sansa and and they hadn't shown Arya, I know, like in 15 minutes, but you knew they were all not going to die at the same time. You know, it was that. I think that is where they failed.
You know what would have been more interesting? The Night King wins, Ravi, and then the next 3 episodes are about how Cersei saves mankind from the Night King. That would be so out of left field. Everyone would hate the show, but it would have made it
like
more.
If they legitimately had killed all those characters.
Yeah, and you couldn't see, and Cersei's the one who saves the realm. That would be crazy. Or the next 3 episodes, like are all about like the Night King just having tea with his friends.
It turns into like a Friends episode.
What if HBO? What if they like died and HBO was like, we lied. There's only 3 episodes. This is it.
I would be so happy.
Imagine if they'd been like,
people would. Ravi, you'd be the only one that's happy, and everyone, the reaction that you had would be the rest of the world.
I'm gonna find like a stuffed like Night King doll to get.
Yeah, you should.
Him that badly.
Also,
he was like my best friend.
Before we sign off, does anyone else agree that the Night King, and I actually got this from a tweet, the Night King looks like Darth Maul after he had one of those freezy chewing gums?
Yeah, no,
the icy breath.
I saw that a couple days ago, actually. Yeah.
Darth Maul. Rest in peace to a real one.
Here's a question.
Yeah, how does that go? Wait, we didn't even talk about this. Like the whole Bran,
sure,
and him being the same person theory.
Well, where did he go?
We don't know.
We saw he was the Ravens at one point.
And then what?
But I don't know. That's
the Ravens went up to him. They were
up to the Night King.
Up to the Night King.
Yeah. And that's how we transitioned to the Night King.
And then we see the Night King do his thing, and then the Night King comes down, does his thing, and then Bran is back, and then Night King dead.
Honestly, I thought at one point, like when they were staring down, that he was going to pull out his sword and then put it away and leave. That's actually at one point how I thought it was going to go. As they were leading up to it, like the Night King recognizes that Bran is him, and he's just gonna leave because he's like, I can't kill you, because you're me.
At some point, I thought it was gonna be like, "Hello, brother."
I mean, I guess this. I mean, does this? I guess this kills the theory, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he's Bran.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well,
yeah,
also
that's what I'm saying. A lot of like great theories are out the window.
Also, what's the point of Bran now?
Well, he's the.
What's the point of anything?
He's the 3-eyed raven.
No, but I mean, just in the I understand that in the context of the universe, but in the context of the story,
he's done. He would stay in the north. He would go back north, right, to be with the children.
I guess. Yeah, wouldn't he go back?
Children, they're all dead though, aren't they?
Yeah, because they were protecting, and then the Night King
right.
came and got him.
They're all gone.
Well, maybe they're not all gone. Maybe we'll find a village of them and hang out, eat, drink tea with them
with some tea. All right. I
think that's it.
We haven't got any comments, I guess. No one likes us.
Whatever. I understand, guys. I understand. You're all drunk because you loved that episode so much. A lot of people liked the episode. I don't understand.
I hated it.
Yeah, a lot of people did like it, and we universally agreed we did not like it. I did think about saying yes.
Why?
Because I did like the music.
You can't like something for one tiny aspect. By the way, I didn't think the music was that good.
I really liked it.
I didn't. I thought the music would have been better if there had been no music, or if it had been like dubstep. Try saying that with a straight face. You can't.
Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you for watching. We try and live stream every single one of our Was It Good podcasts. We'll be coming to you midweek with our Avengers Endgame podcast. Be very exciting. And then we will be back next Sunday with our episode 4 of Game of Thrones live podcast. We have 3 more of these coming up, doing one for every episode of this season except the first one, which we didn't do because of technical difficulties.
Wait, for which one? Oh, yeah.
Episode 1.
That's because we were in Chicago.
We're in
Stranded
Chicago.
in snowy Chicago.
Well, yeah, that's true. All right, well, that'll do it. Until next time, Taco Lights.
Elites.